Well, hello, welcome again to a reading through of Odyssey Book 5, and I've got up to line 118. And in the earlier section, we've seen that Hermes has come from Zeus to tell Kalypso that she has to let Odysseus go. And she's rather upset about this, as you might imagine, and we had up in this earlier line, thus he spoke, and Kalypso rigesen, she shivered, she divine among goddesses, and speaking she addressed him with winged words. Sketlioi esti theoi, se lemones exokon alone. So you are ratbags. You can translate this in many different ways. You are wretched, you're bastards. She's very upset at this point. You need to look at the commentaries on the etymology of this. I think is contested and complicated. So perhaps it means harsh, O gods, and exokon is adverb, and this is a word meaning jealous, so exceedingly jealous of others. Others who, you who, I should say, you who agar us there, this is from agamai, it means to begrudge, and it takes a dative. So you who begrudge goddesses from sleeping beside men. Amphadian openly, so who openly sleep beside men. Aintis, if someone, poi set here, something like make for themselves a dear bedfellow. So if someone might make for themselves a dear bedfellow. The tet is generalizing tets we get commonly in Homer. Hosmen hot, so thus, as when Rhododactylos eos, rosy-fingered dawn, Heltop, this is from Hyrio in the middle, so she took for herself, it's got a reflexive sense, took for herself, or took to herself perhaps almost, Orion, Tophra, and then we get Eos. You often don't translate the Tophra, so it's the gods who soontes rea, the gods living easily. So the gods who have an easy life is the sense. Begrudged her, or perhaps it's him, it's hard to tell. So they were begrudging of her, probably referring to Eos. So while that was happening, until Artemis of the Golden Throne, two-termination adjective, holy Artemis of the Golden Throne in Ortygia. There is a place, Ortygia, of course, in Sicily, but this often is used, it means Quail Island, so it's often used in of Delos, probably that's what it is there, it is here. So they did this until the time when holy Artemis, the Golden Throne in Ortygia, coming against him, probably with the ep, cat epephmen, this is a reduplicated aorist. In fact, it's got a reduplication plus an augment. As an old verb, pheno, which doesn't occur in that form, but this is formed from that. So it's really a kind of pluperfect here, but I think it's taken generally as being a reduplicated aorist. When she, coming against him, she slew him with her gentle arrows, gentle missiles. Now this is interesting here. Again, I'll leave the commentators to perhaps say more about this, but generally when Artemis kills you with gentle missiles, it often has, well, in modern terms, it probably has the sense of they had a heart attack or a stroke and died. And normally Artemis only does this to women. Normally if a man has a heart attack or stroke and dies suddenly, then it's Apollo that does it. So interestingly here, she kills Orion. So thus, so as when Demeter of the beautiful tresses, having yielded in her heart, this is from Aco, and this is a personal adjective again, having yielded in her heart, she mingled in love and bed with Jason. And then N, Neo Tripolo. This is the Neo is a ploughed field, a newly ploughed sort of fallow land, and Tripolo something like 3 times ploughed. So in the thrice ploughed fallow land, I think one translator says. Udi Dane ein Apustus, and Zeus, not for a long time, the Dane, Zeus was apustos, alpha privative plus the plinth. He was not unaware of this. But he, this is Zeus, he killed min him, there's again our reduplicated aorist, having struck him with his shining lightning bolt or thunderbolt, Keranos. Thus, again, now, this is that verb we had before, you begrudge me, O gods. You begrudge, and takes a dative, and begrudge me from, it takes an infinitive, being beside a mortal man, whom, on the one hand, I saved. This is a longer form from sozo. Sozo was originally must have been saozdo, and you get a contraction in later Greek, but it's from that same verb. So him, on the one hand, I rescued, I saved, as he was beba ota from bino, as he was standing peritropios. This is a genitive from tropis, third declension noun, means the keel of the ship. So as he was standing around the keel of the ship, he, oion, alone. When Zeus, now this next bit's difficult here. The Elsas is from a verb alo, normally has the sense of to shut in. So if you're looking up, it's alo, epsilon, iota, lambda, and this is just the irregular aorist here. It apparently here, and it's only twice with this meaning in the Odyssey, it has the meaning here of having smitten, having struck. Again, you'll need to look at the commentaries on this. That's not the usual meaning, but it's used in this same expression twice in the Odyssey with this sense. So, when Zeus, having struck, this is from Chiasdo, he smashed the swift ship with his shining or bright thunderbolt or lightning bolt in the middle of the wine-dark sea. Enioi nopi ponto. Enth aloi men pantes apiphthethen estloi hetairoi. And there all of the others, on the one hand, all these noble comrades perished, from apophtheno. This is the third person plural aorist passive. It's that then for thersan we've seen many times in Homer. But him did the wind carrying, him here, and the wave brought him near, from Palazzo. He, on the one hand, I showed kindness, I loved him, I showed kindness to him, and to Kai I etrefen, I looked after him, literally I reared him, but I fed him and looked after him. Adi ephasgon, this is that iterative from fami, the fasco, so I claimed, or I said, in the sense that it didn't happen. So, and I I used to say, or I said, or I claimed, or I maintain, takes a future infinitive here, that I would make him immortal. Now, ageiron is difficult here. This is in the OCT. Other modern versions of this have ageiron, which is a variant reading. So it's gay, but instead of the own, we have aon to make it a accusative adjective. So, I maintain that I would make him immortal and ageless, alpha probative, all his days. But when, or perhaps since I should say here, but since upos estidios noon gia koion uti paraxelthein alon theon uth haliosai. This line, in fact, 138, we've had this line before back in 104. And in fact, 134 to 5 is also repeated from lines 110 to 11. So we get a lot of repetition here, but since it is not perhaps possible for esti, notice the accent here, probably not possible, either to paraxelthein, well, to get out from, to evade the mind of aegis-bearing Zeus, nor, we've had this verb earlier from halioo, to make fruitless, connected with halis, in vain. So to disappoint, nor to disappoint any other god. So since all that, ereto, let him go. This is an imperative. You get ero, the verb that continues on into Attic. So let him go, and I've got to jump to the next bit, I think, on the unwearying sea. Again, there's different renderings of this one. I'll say unwearying sea. If he, that is, I think, Zeus, epitruno, stirs him up and bids it, from anoga. Pemsodomin upe ego ge. This is a nice little half line here, but I myself, in fact, will not send him anywhere. And then we get an explanatory gar. Uga moi para, notice the accent on para for paresti, for there are no ships present for me, no oared ships. This is from epi plus the eretmos root, an oar. So I don't have any oared ships and comrades. So there do not exist for me oared ships and comrades who would send him on the broad back of the sea. Ata, but hoop basami for hoopatithami, I will advise. But I will advise him profrone, well, something like happily. I will happily advise him, nor will I hide it, understood, nor will I hide, how he might come to his ancestral land, personal adjective again, to his ancestral land, very much ascathes, like our word unscathed, unharmed, alpha privative here. Tain de auta pros ee pediacteros argefontes, and the slayer of Argus, if that's what it means, the slayer of Argus, the conductor, then replied to her, Huto nun apopempo. Thus now dispatch him, send him off. And now this is a fairly rare word. It's epopidzo. This is an imperative here, uncontracted middle, second person. It means to show reverence for, but it's only here in Homer. So it's show reverence for, it's almost be well aware of, the main is the anger of Zeus. Beware of the anger of Zeus, lest perhaps, so this is the enclitic pose, so you can see in toys enclitic, so we get cascading accents, lest perhaps hereafter, having become angry, Kalypso, he might act violently against you. Or perhaps having become angry with you hereafter, he might act violently from Kalypso. He might be difficult. Hos Araphonesos, and thus speaking, Kratos, for Kratos, the mighty slayer of Argos, departed. But she, the lady nymph, Aia, she went after great-hearted Odysseus, since, or when, indeed, she had heard the messages of Zeus. And she found him, accordingly, sitting on the shore. She found him sitting on the shore, nor ever, now this is from a verb meaning to, so it's tersomai, to dry. So never were his two eyes, so it's dual here, but plural here, were they dried from their tears. This is an old ablative ending, ofin, from dakruon is tear, so never were his two eyes dried from their tears, but his sweet ion, now ion in Homer just means life, has range of meanings in later Greek, but here it's just life. His sweet life, kat ebeta, was dripping, or sorry, was ebbing away, I think is the best translation of this. His sweet life was ebbing away for him, lamenting over his noston, his return home, since the nymph no longer was pleasing, from Handano. Al e toinuktos men iauesken. Now this is an iterative form here from iao, is to sleep with someone, sleep beside, take it with the para here, I think. For indeed, by night, he used to, and by necessity, so out of necessity, he was sleeping beside, so no, I'm going to take this first, sorry, but indeed, by night and by necessity, uk ethelone, not willing, so against his will, he was sleeping beside, and I think we've got to take her, beside her who was willing, in the hollow caves, plural for singular probably here, in the hollow cave. So let's do that bit again. But indeed, by night and by necessity, against his will, he was sleeping in the hollow caves beside her, she who was willing. But by day, so this is the nuktos men and the hemata balanced here. So by night on the one hand, and then by day. For Anna, you often get this in Homer, the alpha disappears and the nu, which is a nasal, a dental nasal, before the labial pi, the dental nasal nu turns into a labial nasal, which is mu. So by day, sitting among the rocks and the headlands, he was erekthone. Now we have had that word before. This line 157 is the same as line 83, in fact, so we've had this before, this erekthone, breaking his, or racking his heart, breaking his heart, with tears and groans and pains, and he was shedding tears. And we get another iterative here from Durkheim. So he was continually looking at the unwearied sea. And she, divine among goddesses, standing near, she addressed him. Camore. Now the cam is from kata, and this mor root is from meramai. It's to do with one's fate. So it means ill-fated one, unhappy one. So, ill-fated one, do not any longer, now the moi here is probably an ethic dative, so please do not any longer lament here. This is an imperative, uncontracted. Nor indeed let your life wane or perish. Ade gar semala profas fas apopempso, for now I will send you off. Mala, well, something like with very ready heart. So very heartily I will send you off. And that is the next part of Book 5.